is Lacey Hafley. Today I'm going to be presenting a lesson for a biology course on active and passive transport. The objectives for a class of this nature is to be able to model the types of transport in a variety of ways, describe the various types of transport, and then also to explain how polarity also affects transport. So to kind of get ready for this type of a lesson, you're going to want to review the types of transport, including osmosis, channel-mediated diffusion, facilitated diffusion, and sodium protein pumps. This can be something that you incorporate in a variety of ways. You could do websites, videos, articles, lectures, just a lot of different things that you could do. What I would plan on doing with that is a lecture. And for this, you would discuss the types of transport in some type of presentation format. So using maybe Prezi, PowerPoint, or Canva. And during this time, you could also have students to discuss the types of transport and take notes on them. One thing that you could also do to help engage them in the conversation or this lecture is by telling them this will be your cheat sheet for the next activity, which is the kinesthetic activity. So in this activity, students will play a game in which they compare the phenomena of passive and active transports and then model those in this game. So for this activity, it's based on that childhood favorite, Red Rover. And so students are assigned to be ions, molecules, or cell membranes. And they draw a card and they hang it around their neck. So that way it's easy to identify who is who and what you're supposed to do. So if they're an ion or a molecule, they will write that ion or molecule and their charge on their card. Students will then strategize with their similar cards. So if they're the same ion or the same molecule or even the same membrane, they will all talk together and figure out what it is that they need to do to be successful in their roles. So students who are assigned membrane will act as a fluid and they will hold hands. So students who are then protein channels are to only allow those specific proteins through them. And students will then demonstrate the various types of transport and then switch roles and do it again. So the teacher would say, I want you to do osmosis, and they would demonstrate osmosis for that lesson. And then you would switch to diffusion or facilitated diffusion, the protein pumps. And each time the students would model those and you would discuss after each model. So after you discuss each model, students would answer questions. And this could be used as a formative assessment as well, where you see how students are doing within the lesson and then change it, modify, and ask questions as you need to. But to make sure that everybody kind of gets the idea of either being an ion or molecule, and then also what the role of the membrane is, you could have them do a few in with those models where they're assign that card, and then have them switch and play those different roles and do each type of transport each time. To follow up with this, you could do a quiz at the end as a formative or summative assessment, really depending on what you would prefer in your classroom. You could do short response quiz, you could do multiple choice, and so forth. Some ways to kind of differentiate with this lesson. You could definitely have students discuss their roles in the concept they've learned during Think, Pair, Shares. They could discuss strengths and weaknesses of the activity. So what were some things that they really liked about it? What were some things that they feel like they needed to get worked on? And then, are there any ideas that they could come up with on how to improve or build up on that activity? Another thing that you could also do is, especially if you're an online school, is students could create a video using those cards that you provide, or they could make their own and make up a video of them demonstrating the various types of the different types of transport. A good way to close out this lesson is to have students complete an exit ticket and describe some of the main differences between active and passive transport. Well, I hope you enjoyed that lesson and try it in your classroom.